on, Athara.
ലോകനാഥയേകദൈവമേ കാത്തരുളുക ലോകനാഥയേകദൈവമേ ലോകനാഥയേകദൈവമേ കാത്തരുളുക ലോകനാഥയേകദൈവമേ പ്രകൃതി ജീവനത്തിനിന്നു കരുതിടുന്ന ഞങ്ങളെ പാർത്തരുളുക ലോകനായികേ പരമകാല്യ ലോകനാഥ ഏകദൈവമേ ഹരിത ജീവനത്തിനിന്നു കരുതിടുന്ന ഞങ്ങളെ ചേർത്തരുളുക ലോകനായികേ പരമകാര്യ ലോകനാഥ ഏകദൈവമേ സഹജ ജീവനത്തിനിന്നു കരുതിടുന്ന ഞങ്ങളെ ഓർത്തരുളുക ലോകനായികേ പരമകാമ്യ ലോകനാഥ ഏകദൈവമേ കാത്തരുളുക ലോകനാഥ ഏകദൈവമേ കാത്തരുളുക ലോകനാഥ ഏകദൈവമേ.
Now I call upon Dr. Rani Jaya, lecturer in the department, for the welcome speech. She has teaching experience of over a decade and leads to the department lecturing team of the department. She has PhD in bioinformatics from University of Kerala. Her research area is plant pathogen interaction with focus on next generation sequence. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. I welcome all the participants to the orientation program that we are conducting today for the PG Computational Biology program with the new 3 specializations that we have included from the new academic year onwards. So first of all, let me welcome all the participants to the program, and we will be addressing all the faculty members of the department, including the professor and head of our department, Dr. Achu Shankar Nair is also here with us. So sir will be introducing about the programs. You can have your queries related to, we'll be taking up your queries also. So let me welcome Dr. Achu Shankar Nair also to the program. Then we have with us Dr. Biju, some of the experts who are related to the computer-aided drug designing work, as well as the NGS analysis, data analysis work, who is working in the department. So we have Dr. Biju. I welcome Dr. Biju also. Biju is currently the postdoctoral fellow of the department. He has got a PhD from the University of Amsterdam and has more than 10 years of research experience in bioinformatics, as well as especially in the NDS data analysis. So I welcome Dr. Biju. Then we have Ms. Reshmi with us. She's again a research scholar in our department, who is also an expert in data analysis. And she has also working experience on as research assistant, as teaching assistant in the National University of Singapore, and soon after the completion of her bachelor's degree from Singapore itself. And as per the schedule, we have Mr. Srijit, who is also the alumni of the department, and he's also currently the senior manager, working as the senior manager in one of the very established bioinformatics company called the AgriGenome, which is located in Cochin. And I welcome Ms. Reshmi, Mr. Srijit, and once again all the participants to the program. We have our PG students who are here to support us. Then our MPhil students are here. So I welcome all the participants and all those who are there to support the program. And once again, welcome you all. Have a great session ahead and know more about the program as well. So Dr. Biji, we'll move on with the other events.
Thank you, Rani.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Sunita P., lecturer, for giving a brief introduction about the department. She is a sincere, dedicated, hardworking, and delightful person. She has been teaching in this department for over a decade. Her major research area has been on the analysis of genes regulating the process of angiogenesis and has the modest publication in this area. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Olga.
Good evening, friends. So I'll be just giving an intro on the various aspects of or the life happening at the department, or we can have a short glimpse on the life at the department. We call the department as DCB, Department of Computation Biology and Bioinformatics. So welcome you all to the presentation. So this is the main headquarters of the University of Kerala, which is located at Palayam in Trivandrum. And this is the Karyavatam campus where all the teaching departments are located. So this is our department, Department of Computation Biology and Bioinformatics. We offer 3 MSc programs as well as 2 MPhil programs and PhD program in bioinformatics in this department. From the current year, we have 3 specializations, 1 specialization in machine learning and MSc specialization in machine learning, MSc computation biology specialization in computer-aided drug design, and NGS data analytics. So this was when the department was inaugurated by the education minister like back in 2005. So these are the faculties at the department. We have 4 lecturers plus 1 professor in the department. And we have various teams and we have many activities happening in the department. Like we have so many cultural clubs, like our cultural club is Sarga, which was inaugurated by a famous musician. So we usually conduct many programs in their banner. And we have another club, Madhyama, where we do release the magazines or newsletters of the department. We used to do it monthly, now it is on biannual newsletter. Then we have Harita team, which concentrates on the green activities of the department. We have team Vanita, we have team Drishya, we have team Kaika, and all. So I'll be showing some of the photos, like this is the kitchen day we have conducted in our department. So we do have a lot of activities and events that happens in our department. So just going through these. Yes. It was when the Nobel laureate Dr. Michael Levitt visited our department last year in 2020 January. So these are our current PG students in the department. We have a library with more than 3,000 books in our library. So this was when we had conducted our last alumni meet. So these are some of the slides which I wanted to show you to show the life at DCB. So I hope some of you will be able to join as soon, and I welcome you all to the department and welcome to apply to our PG programs, and our professor will be talking more about the programs we are offering this year. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to invite our beloved HOD, Dr. Achyut Shankar S. Nair, to throw some light on the 3 programs. He holds degrees in B.Tech from the College of Engineering, Trivandrum, M.Tech from MIT Bombay, M.Phil from University of Cambridge, UK, and PhD in Engineering and PhD in Music, both from University of Kerala. He was visiting professor in University of Korea, Seoul in 2007, and served as director of the Center for the Development of Imaging Technology, CDET, Government of Kerala from 2001 to 2004. He has guided 25 PhDs, and he has authored over 250 technical and general articles. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Gayatri. Very good evening to all of you, both our friends, well-wishers, students, and prospective students. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're audible.
Okay. I'm the oldest man in the department, not to be scared of, because the department is run by very, very young people. And I just need to be around as a friendly guide. I would like to address the prospective students today. Friends, this department is a new department, relatively new department. You must have heard of bioinformatics department in many places, but this department is called computational biology and bioinformatics. So it has 2 streams actually. One, computational biology is about people who are expert skills in computing and want to contribute to the development of biology. And bioinformatics is for people who are in life science and they want to work in life science, but they want to be able to use the tools of computers. So these are the two aspects of the discipline. So in our MSc programs also, the MSc Computational Biology with specialization in machine learning is aimed at people who want to upgrade their computing skills. So the biology will only be an exposure. You won't be required to specialize in biology. You will specialize in computing itself. Whereas the other two branches, the data analysis and data analytics and NGS data analytics and computer drug design will be meant for people who want to work in drug development area or genome data analysis area, not necessarily become computer experts in their own disciplines. Now, I would very quickly like to tell you, bioinformatics, even though a new discipline, it fits very well with the picture of biology. Biology was originally handled by traditional biologists, but you know that now there are many other biologies. For example, you have biochemistry, you have biophysics, you even have biotechnology. And so bioinformatics also fits into that category. So what is happening is these are different perceptions on studying life science. Biochemistry studies through the eye of chemistry. Biophysics studies it through the eye of physics. And bioinformatics studies through the eye of informatics. There is information of life held inside the cell. How can you understand life through those information? That is what is being taught. I can answer questions if you raise. But at the moment, let me say about the three specializations. The MSc in machine learning, with specialization in machine learning, we will teach you thoroughly, very well, Python and machine learning. So the promise of the program is that by the time we finish this MSc program, you should be good in computational biology or bioinformatics, plus you have two skills which can be used both in life science area or in general area. Because if you are a machine learning expert, you can also try for jobs in other areas. So similarly, Python programming is a skill that is very good for getting jobs. So these are two additional skills, I would say. And for computer-aided drug design, I don't need to tell you in the age of pandemic how important it is to look for drugs. And you may also know that today no drug development is done without the help of computing softwares. And therefore, this is a very, very important, established, useful, relevant, and contemporary subject. And I'm sure this will grow in leaps and bounds in the coming years. But let us also understand that when we think we are looking for more and more drugs, then we are considering that we are going to have a very unhealthy world. So that is a contradiction. But in any case, you cannot live without drugs. And so they look for in the search for drugs, computer-aided drug design is an inevitable tool today. And I think one of my colleagues will, when they share with you, they will show that our department also made a proposal on the corona virus, a research publication regarding that, which is listed in the World Health Organization's website. So it is an exciting area. The drug design is an exciting area. Data analytics, as you know, today tons of data are falling from different sites. We call it big data. One of the greatest big data to be handled is scientific data, and among it, one of the very prominent data is the genomic data. So soon we will move to a time when everybody's genome will need to be sequenced. Doctors would need that. In that situation, sequencing is today not, if you have money, you can sequence, but analyzing is a very different task. So this course will equip you to do that. Again, data analytics is a generic skill as well. It can be used to seek other jobs as well. So these are the quick takes on the three programs. I also would like to tell you, I'm very proud to say, you must have got a glimpse of it. Our department has a very special environment. An environment which promotes creativity and an environment where there is scope for everybody to grow. It is up to the student to use it. I'm not claiming that everybody has used it. It's up to the student to use it. The department has an international exposure as you saw, we have 5 Nobel laureates who had visited the department in the last 10 years. 5 Nobel laureates. And we invited, one of them stayed for a week. And many international experts coming to our department. And we are well connected. We have very good facilities. It's a small, university department is not like a college. The department is like a college. It is in a college, there are many departments. Each department is small. But a university department is like a college. It has its own existence, its own staff, its own office, its own budget, its own funds, its own scholarships. So all the clubs that you saw, the Sarga, Kaika, Vanita, Madhyama, these are all for the department itself. So it is a well-knit, small community. And as you will see, it has, I would request you to kindly browse the brochure that has been mailed to all of you. You will understand that this is a very special place. And it has been made special by people like you, who have joined there and who have grown with the department. I must also add a word here that, the placement after studying bioinformatics. I don't think I can say if you study bioinformatics, like computer science, you can the next day get a placement. No, but there are opportunities for a small number of people. And we are only having a very small number of students in these programs, not only in our university, everywhere. The total number of bioinformatics students is small. So the opportunity is small doesn't really mean much. And plus, I am telling you, our idea is to equip you with skills so that your job opportunities is not only in bioinformatics, but also in general computing area, in the IT industry. So the machine learning program, I would like to stress again, will equip you to go into the industry wherever machine learning is being used. The data analytics program will also equip you to go into industry wherever data analysis is being used. Computer drug design is very specific, but you must understand that industry is very different. It is not like bioinformatics. Pharma industries, all of them might have some aspect of this work. So, and then for all of you, there is also opportunity for research and development institutions. Outside India, the research and development institutions, the area of bioinformatics is very, very strong and lot of opportunities. So I will stop for the time being. I'm very happy that this orientation program has attracted students from all over India and also from outside India. And, the value of a department is enhanced when there are students from various backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, from various financial backgrounds, from various linguistic backgrounds. So we are very happy. We will provide special help to students from outside if they join our university. We are very happy to have them. And during the pandemic, anyway, I think we will have to go in an online mode. We do not know when you will be able to be physically in the department. But in any case, we cannot lose hope. We are looking forward to having all of you in the department. When you join, if there are any questions, I would like to answer them. The organizers can decide whether now I need to interact or later. Thank you. All the best, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir. The platform is open for discussion. If you have any queries, you can post it on the chat box, or you can directly switch on the mic and interact with the professor.
Sir, there is just a quick question. I'm pursuing my MTech in biotechnology and I'm interested in computational biology. So, am I eligible right now? Like, I'm currently pursuing, I've completed my first year. So, for the second year, I just have the dissertation part. So, I can fully dedicate my time to the course, MSc course, and I also want to learn. So, just want to ask, can I apply for this?
Yeah, I'm very happy about your interest in the program, but unfortunately, I have to say no, because when you are in a program, enrolled formally in a program, you must finish it then only join. So my suggestion to you is that you just wait for another 10 months, and the next call will come. You have your MTech with you, and it is not questioned. There is nothing unethical in it, and then you can join us. Before that, if you just want to sit in our classes and all, you're most welcome to do that. But to apply for the program also, it is okay. Applying is okay. But when you join, you will have to make a statement that you are not undergoing any program anywhere else. So it is fair to wait for some more time. Before that, if you want any sit in our classes as a guest, we are very happy to provide you with that. Okay.
So how can I informally I'll be attending the classes. So am I eligible to attend all the classes which will be happening?
You mean without joining?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can open you to the class. You can give me a request. We will let you attend classes. That is not an issue. We are very happy that there are guest attendees in the class. That shouldn't be an issue. You can mail me that. I will.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
I would also like to tell you one thing very special about our university. Our university charges just 800 rupees for a semester as fees. So during the joining time, maybe around 3,000 rupees has to be paid for various other kinds of fees. But the semester fees for all the 4 semesters is 800 rupees each semester. So which is a throwaway fees today. There was one more question. Can Biji read out?
I'll read. Sir, I have registered for PG Diploma in Data Analytics and also I'm working as a professional. Can I enroll for the program? Will it be online?
PG Diploma is where?
Can Anandu switch on the mic and...
Anandu, how long?
I have registered for the Data Analytics program.
Yeah. How long is the program?
It's 1 year, I guess.
How long you are into it now?
In the industry, I am total of 6 years.
No, that is okay. In the postgraduate diploma, how long you are? Is it an online program?
Yes, no, I'm asking that, will it be an online program?
No, our program will have to be online until the COVID vanishes. Everything will be online.
Okay. And will there be any entrance exam for that?
There will be. We are not sure whether they will just take your marks and admit you, but that we will have to wait. It is a university decision. As of now, they are saying we will hold an entrance exam. We do not know whether it will be online or it will be held physically. So that we have to wait to see. Okay.
Thank you.
But Anandu, formally you have to apply, okay? All the details.
My suggestion is you just apply and then it's 500 rupees to apply.
Yeah, I have applied that online.
Yeah. And then let us take a decision closer to the admission. Okay. Right. Anyone else? I think you can go ahead with the program. People can raise questions while the program goes on. They can also raise questions afterwards.
Next up, I invite Dr. Biju to provide a flavor of bioinformatics. He is currently a postdoctoral fellow in this department, and he did his MSc in genetic and plant breeding from the Department of Botany, University of Kerala. And after he joined in this department for MPhil in bioinformatics program, after MPhil, he moved to Netherlands for his PhD in the Department of Molecular Plant Pathology at the University of Amsterdam. His international exposure and experiences in advanced molecular biology techniques is valuable assets to this department, and many researchers are getting benefits from it. His area of expertise comprises the use of advanced molecular biology techniques to understand the molecular basis of pathogenicity of plant pathogens on its host, as well as the applications of new generations sequencing technologies to understand plant and pathogen genome evolution. His current research is the whole genome sequencing of medical plants to explore full metabolic pathways. Over to you, Biju, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I am going to present you one of our major achievement, the whole genome sequencing of Aryapatcha. So before going to this topic, it is always good to understand what is a genome, what is a genome sequence, what do you get when you sequence a genome. So what is a genome? We all know that we human beings carry 23 pairs of chromosomes or 46 chromosomes. So chromosome is a thread-like molecules that carry instructions or information for development and maintenance of our body. For example, the chromosome carry information on hair growth, hair color, eye color, immunity, and everything. If you look into the details of this chromosome, you can see a double-stranded spiral molecules, which is called DNA. So chromosome is basically composed of DNA. So when you look close into the DNA, you can see that it is composed of 4 chemical bases or nucleotides, which are represented by 4 letters A, T, G, and C. So when you read these letters into a textbook, read and write these letters into a textbook, you can see a sequence like this, which are represented in the red color. This is called a DNA sequence. So what is a genome? The genome is the DNA sequence present in all chromosomes. Together we call a genome. So I hope you understand what is a genome now. So this is actually how a genome looks like. It's complete. It's a full letters, only letters with of A, G, T, and C. And you know the human genome contains 300 crores of letters, 3 billion of letters. So it is very big, right? So when you get a sequence like this, how you get information? I already told you that the chromosome carry information for our development, carry information for our hair growth, eye color, and everything. So when you get a sequence like this, how are you going to identify those information? How you read it? How you read a sequence? If you look into the first sequence, you won't find anything, right? The upper side. But if you read it clearly, you will find informations. For instance, hair is black. I am tall. I am happy. This information is actually present in the original sequence, but you have to read it carefully. You have to find it. The information like this present in a DNA sequence is called genes. Sometimes the genes can be translated into proteins. So you must understand what is a chromosome, genome, genes, proteins. What do you get when you sequence a genome? You will get information on genes, you will get information on proteins, immunity, disease, and everything. So when you get a sequence like this, I told you it contains a lot of information. So you have to find it, you have to identify it. Who will do it? A bioinformatician will do it. This is the job of a bioinformatician. He can analyze a genome, he can identify all information present in a genome and can give pass to the scientist. So this is very exciting job everybody can learn. Come to the agriculture. I hope you understand what is a genome, DNA, genes, and proteins. So come to the Arequipacha. It is a small medicinal plant with a lot of therapeutic properties. For instance, if you eat the fruit of a plant, you will get instant energy. Like this. This plant possesses a lot of therapeutic properties like anti-tumor, anti-cancer, anti-diabetic, everything. At the beginning of this project, the key genes responsible for these properties were unknown. So we plan to sequence the genome to identify the genes responsible for the production of all chemical molecules present in the Arequipacha. So sequence it using two technologies called Illumina and PacBio. You can Google it to understand it more. So the Arequipacha genome contains 850 million of letters. It's a big, but it is smaller than a human genome. And we have identified around 34,000 of genes. Among this, we have identified around 1,000 genes are found to be associated with the synthesis of medicinal molecules. This is just a categorization of genes a bioinformatician do. Don't worry about it. Just a categorization of genes based on their functions. This is another way of classifications of genes. This is also another way of classification of genes. So a lot of analysis can be done. A bioinformatician can do a lot of analysis with genome. This is also another classification of resistant genes present in the Arequipacha genome. This is also another classification or comparison of genes with related plant species. So I just showing these figures to get a feeling of what kind of analysis can a bioinformatician can do. So a lot of analysis can do. So during this project, we got a lot of several publications, and the genome of the Arequipacha has been published in an American journal. So it is all publications are available online, so you can just Google it and find it and read it to understand it more. This project has been covered by many newspapers, including Indian Hindu and Indian Expresses, and also our project has been appreciated by our former finance minister, Thomas Exxon. So we got a lot of recognition for this project, and it was a prestigious project for this department. This was the team behind this project: Dr. Achyushankar S. Nair, who was our mentor, and myself, GVC, and Dr. Shidi, Anu, Veena, and Sheetal. This was a team behind this project, and thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Shanita A., lecturer, to provide a flavors of CAT. She is a simple, sincere, responsible, and hardworking person with an amiable nature. She has teaching experience over a decade, and her research area include computer-aided drug designing, molecular dynamic simulation, sequence analysis, phylogenetic tree construction, and epigenetics. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Anika. Good evening, one and all. I would like to give a flavor on computer-aided drug design. So currently we are in the verge of the pandemic situation, COVID-19 caused by novel coronavirus SARS-CoV-2. Identification of a suitable drug candidate is the hour of the need. Scientists and researchers are trying to identify a suitable drug candidate against a virus. So drug discovery is one of the most inevitable discovery to the well-being of human life. So from ancient times, we have legends in medicine, Sushruta and Charaka. They are the pioneers or the legends in the drug discovery process. They use herbs as medicine. And later in modern medicine, we have scientists like Hippocrates, then Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin, Edward Jenner introduced vaccination, then Paul Ehrlich introduced the modern chemotherapeutic drugs, and last phase is Michael Levitt. He is the well-known Nobel laureate and the common phase or the non-phase of the department, that is Michael Levitt. He is a computational biophysicist. So all these have made contribution in different periods of time in various discoveries. So we are looking more and more to the development of drugs and related compounds for the ailments and the well-being of the human life. Drugs which can be obtained from herbs, or it can be obtained from synthetic modes, or we have to take different approaches, or we have to modify the existing drugs, or we have to repurpose the drugs. So we have to modify the drugs in any ways. So all these drugs modification can be used for the synthesis, so for the discovery of new drugs. So, and it also possesses some pharmacological effect are there. The natural compounds which we obtained from the turmeric is curcumin, and the wonder drug is aspirin. So this is a synthetic compound or it is a natural compounds. Either it may be any means. So we have to modify the existing drugs, or we have to repurpose the existing drugs. We have to create drug compounds for the beneficial or the healthy or the balanced life of human. So identification and the screening of a pharmacological active molecule is time consuming and an expensive process. So in that case, by the help of computer softwares, we can screen number of molecules within a flash of seconds. That is, hundreds or thousands of molecules can be screened in a flash of seconds. So that is the relevance of computer-aided drug design process. So the drug discovery process, it takes time and it takes money. It is a time-consuming process, and it is a money expensive process. The screening and identification of a desired molecule is a very expensive process. But in computer-aided drug designing, we are using, or with the help of computer softwares and tools, we have to screen number of compounds. So we have to use the protein, we have to use the protein sequences, we have to analyze the protein sequences, we have to model the protein sequences, we have to build a protein structures, and we have to evaluate the protein structures. And those models can also be used for the interactions of these molecules. Usually now the drug design are in the phase of rationalized drug design process. First, we have to understand the molecular mechanism behind the diseases, and we understand what is the target behind that particular diseases. So target specific drug discovery or the structure based drug discovery we are focusing. So the structure of the protein is very essential for the discovery of drugs. In computer aided drug design, the structure is not available. So we have to model a protein structure from sequence itself. So we have to build a protein structure from sequence, and we have to analyze the structural features, and we have to analyze the functional features, and we have to relate the functions of that protein with the other proteins. Then we have to analyze the small molecules, and we have to identify pharmacologically active molecules from different sources, either from plant compounds or from synthetic modes or from modification of the compounds or from the repurposing of compounds. So any means we have to take the compounds and we have to identify the interaction of these molecules with the drugs by a software, by a computational simulation process that is known as molecular docking. In molecular docking, we are doing all these processes using computational softwares that commonly, usually we refer to it as a molecular docking software. So we have number of programs or softwares that support for molecular docking. The binding stability of that is in molecular docking, we are understanding the binding affinity of the small molecule with the receptors or the target that we are taking. Then we have to identify the energy of the molecule, and we have to identify the number of interactions that have made between the molecules. And all these parameters, we have to identify the molecular features of these small molecules. All these can be characterized by the molecular simulation of these molecules by docking softwares. So we have thousands of molecules are there. When we are applying these molecules by molecular docking program, we have to screen 1 to 10 from the thousands. So we have to identify the desired compounds that have the binding affinity with the target can also be selected. So in computational drug design processes, we are giving a flavor of how to build a protein structure, how to analyze the sequences, how to understand the features, how to understand the biophysical features and biochemical features. Then we have to identify the small molecules that have druggable property, then how we have to modify the small molecules, then how we have to visualize the molecules, then we have to predict the function of molecules. All these can be possible by this computer-aided drug design process or program. So we have to identify the interaction of the molecules within the drug design process in between the target and also the ligand. We have also identified the interaction of the protein with other proteins or interaction with the protein with the DNA, and all these can be studied using this molecular simulation process or the computational simulation process. So the binding stability in any program, that is in any computational simulation processes, first we have to understand the molecules that have best binding affinity with the target. Then we screen the molecules, then we have to characterize each molecule one by one based on the biophysical molecular properties and its mutagenicity. So we have screened number of molecules from the thousands, we have to screen to 1 or 2 or 3 or 5. So by this computational softwares, we can screen the number of molecules from a higher number to the lesser number. So we can avoid large time consuming processes to screen large molecules by robotic sampling or high throughput screening methods. So after that, in any computational simulation program, validation is necessary. So once we have to characterize the molecule, have the binding capacity, then we have to understand the property of the behavior or behavior of these small molecules with respect to that particular target. In some clinical studies are there. So validation is a necessary thing, but the easiness of the study can be done through this computational softwares and tools. So at the beginning, I already explained that we are in the current phase of pandemic situation, that is COVID-19. That is, we are struck with all the activities. So this coronaviruses has spike proteins. The spike proteins help in the attachment of these viruses to the receptors of the human, that is ACE2 receptors. The binding not happens, it cannot enter into the cell, so it cannot cause any infection. So we are trying to identify the inhibitors that can prevent the entry of this virus into the receptors. So we have our own contribution from the department itself. The current ailments are remdesivir. This is an antiviral drug compounds, and COVID-19 vaccines can also be administered as a precautions or the measures to treat the illness. But there is a question how to identify a suitable drug candidate against the particular diseases. So the department has also a contribution, and this is the work led by Dr. Abhinand CS, with the guidance and support of our senior professors, Achu sir, Uman sir, Sudhakaran sir, etc. They have a paper which is published in Journal of Biomolecular Structure and Dynamics by Taylor and Francis in September 2020. So we have our own contribution in COVID research. They are providing sufficient protease inhibitors and their combination effect in that paper. It is one of the most recognized paper in COVID research. So apart from the drug design programs, we have consultancy services are there. So we are providing consultancy to other departments and other colleges. So our associates are from the various departments of the university itself. They are from the chemistry, biochemistry, botany, zoology, biotechnology, environmental science, and also from that is government pharmacy colleges, Ayurveda colleges, then HLL, affiliated pharmacy colleges, arts and science colleges. These associates are there. So faculties and research scholars from various departments, they are coming to our department. We are associating each other, and we are giving support for this consultancy for docking and dynamic simulation works. So we have our own facilities for this docking and dynamic simulation programs. We have paid software is there, molecular docking. We have paid software that is Discovery Studio. And apart from the paid software, we have also free softwares are there, Autodoc like there. And we have performed MD simulation in GROMACS and also run in Discovery Studio. And also we have Amber tools, not software, Amber tools are there. And also we have visualization tools are there to visualize and understand the features of the proteins and also the small molecules. Some of the common tools, that is the PyMol, RASMol, that is Visual Molecular Dynamics, VMD, then UCSF Chimera, Argus Lab are the common platforms we are using for visualization of molecules. So then we have a Meet the Scholar program. That is, I already discussed that Michael Levitt is the common face of our department. He is a Nobel laureate, and we have the opportunity to interact with this scholar. That is, we have the university have the Meet the Scholar programs are there. Eminent scholars from the various departments come and meet with these are the platform to enrich our knowledge from the Meet the Scholar programs. And finally, the Five Fingers led by our beloved Professor and Head Achusar, managing all the academic activities. And I would say thank you for the patient listening of this presentation. It is a small presentation, not the detailed presentation. So I would like to give a flavor on this CAD-related problems. We are visualizing, analyzing molecular structures, and we have to identify the interaction between these molecules, and we have to identify the binding stability of the molecules. All these can be possible through computational softwares, so which help in the easiness of the workload, and we can consume the time and also money. So that is a basic aim of this computational drug discovery processes. Finally, I would like to share a video on molecular docking. So how the molecule can be oriented into the correct position of the target molecule, that is a protein molecule. Usually, most of the drug targets are proteins, like I discussed in COVID-19, ACE2, that is one of the most studied receptors in COVID-19 cases. So we are more focusing on rationalizing design processes. We are more focusing on molecular target, especially enzymes and targets within the system. We are analyzing the molecular features and how we have to understand the biological functions and how we are analyzing the interaction of that receptors with other molecules and behavior. All this can be possible by this computational softwares and tools. So in computer-aided drug design processes program, we are offering all these in a single word, that is MSc in computer-aided drug design program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up is an interactive session with one of our alumni, Mr. Srijit, who currently works at Agrigenome Bioinformatics Private Limited. It is a genomics-oriented R&D company specialized in DNA sequencing, bioinformatics, next-generation sequence analysis, and genetic testing. Mr. Srijit spearheads the bioinformatics team at Agrigenome, responsible for the customer support of genomic services, coordinates the activities of business development and sequencing team inside Genome. His association with the department dates back to the year 2005, when he joined for MPhil course in bioinformatics, first of its kind in the country. We are always pleased to Srijit sir in our midst. Over to you, sir.
Hi, good evening, friends. Thanks, Gayatri, for that beautiful introduction. Myself, Srijit, I am working with a genomics company based out of Cochin called Agrigenome Labs. So maybe I'll just give a small introduction about what work we are doing in our company, and maybe after that, maybe we can move forward for an interaction. So basically, Agrigenome Labs offer two kinds of services. First is sequencing-based services, and second is purely bioinformatics, that analysis-related services. So sequencing, as already Biju has given you a flavor of it. It's basically the determination of the arrangement in which our nucleotides are arranged in the genome. So we have certain machines here, which have already given you the names, Illumina and PacBio. These are actually machines in which we input the DNA, and the output is the sequence. The sequence means different, the AGCTs that Biju showed in his slide. Okay. So there are certain clients which work with us, who need only informatics, the sequencing services. And we also offer, as I said, bioinformatics services, because as Biju said, once the sequence is out of the machine, it is just AG and CTs. There is no much depth, or there is no knowledge. You don't know what is all about. So unless you need a proper system and proper person to analyze it and reach in a conclusion, or reach in a kind of insights which give you a kind of biological information, then it carries, then it is of value. So what we generally do here is, once we sequence the particular organism or particular human genome, it is forwarded to a computational biology team here. So basically what they do is that they do analyze the particular sequence and come up with useful, meaningful data. Actually, Biju has showed through his, you might have seen a lot of graphs, a lot of bar diagrams in his slide, which is actually the output of the analysis. So basically we have two kind of teams here. One is for analyzing the sequences that are coming out of the systems, and second is a team which actually develops pipelines. Pipelines is actually, once you put a sequence into a what you call a server, because these are, as Biju said, these are big data. So big data demands big computational power. So we have certain servers here, and also big storages here. So once these servers have softwares, which actually analyze this kind of sequences and provide you with useful information. So there is a team actually sits here to develop this kind of softwares, in-house softwares and pipelines, which makes us easy to analyze this kind of data. So this is just an overview of what we are doing here. So as you know, we all are sitting at home, attending, reading everything through this online media and online processes. So this particular situation, COVID, maybe being a biologist or I'm not as Gayatri said, I'm not heading the bioinformatics team in AgriGenome here. I'm actually a senior manager in operations, which includes lab operations and customer service operations. So this particular scenario, or what we call as pandemic, we being the biologists, we should see it as an opportunity rather than a challenge, because if you look at the different kind of strains of the different kinds of strains of this COVID-19 virus that the world is talking about, from currently they have given names for alpha, delta, and all those names. Even in delta, if you see, there are a lot of ways. They say that there are a lot of different kinds of subgroups. So how do they find these kind of subgroups? So basically what they do is that this virus, as we said, is just a 26 to 32 kb string or a sequence. What they do is that they sequence that particular string, and whenever a new new subgroup or a new virus emerges, they actually match this particular new strain with the already sequenced strain. Through that particular process, they will come to know that what are the difference. They call it computation. Biologically, they are called it as mutations or single or polymorphisms. So that is how they will know that there is a difference in the genome of the virus which has been evolved, and they say that the virus has been evolved. So being a biologist and this is actually an opportunity, and there are a lot of profound opportunities already in this market. So with this, maybe I'd like to conclude, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take.
There is one question.
Yeah, I can read it. Not an issue. I'm connected from my laptop. who are your customer? I mean, who would want to give you a genome and get it decoded? Okay, nice question. So usually our customers are research labs. You know that in and around India, there are a lot of labs which is government funded labs, like ICMR labs, ICSR labs, and also UGC funded labs. So these labs which are working in plants, animals, and human we are not dealing, unfortunately. We are only dealing with plants, animals, and microbes in our lab. So these labs send, what they do is that they either send the microbes as such, or if it is an animal, they send the tissue. If it is a plant, they send the stem, root, or leaf, whatever material they have, to us directly, or either they will isolate the DNA or RNA, whatever they want to do, sequence in their facility and send it to us. We have a team in and around India to coordinate this shipping and the collection and shipping. So once the sample, we call it sample actually, once the sample reaches here, it goes through certain operational processes, and then it is, and also operational as well as the laboratory processes. The DNA is clean, DNA because we call it as a library. We make a library is nothing but we are getting the DNA to a form that is easily readable by the machines, and then we call it we sequence it in the machine. We call the process sequencing. So sequence it in the machine, and then we get the sequence out. And also, if around the globe we have around 6 or 7 customers outside India also, we are also following the same process there. Hope I have answered your question, Omal. Do we need basics in computers to pursue this MSc course, a biotechnology student? I think Dr. Achyut Shankar is the best person to answer this question. But from my experience, I'm basically, I am a biology student, but I hold a PG in zoology, and then I have done MPhil MPhil in bioinformatics from University of Kerala, DCBB. Okay, so for a biotechnology student, if you are applying for a job or opening in my company, the company in which I am working, they will definitely consider the computational side also. The reason is that, as I told you, we are looking more into the analysis side, but they also have a development team also, as I said. So definitely the basics in computers, basically the languages Python, Perl, and R will be an added advantage if you want to apply for a job in a bioinformatics company or bioinformatics department.
Vijit, I will supplement what you said to the questionnaire. As you rightly said, this is an added advantage. And to the person who asked the question, I would like to say, we will teach you what maths is required and what programming is required. You don't need to worry about it. It can be learned by, if school students learn Python programming, then why not a biotechnology student learn programming? Programming is fun. Anybody can learn it. You have to just apply your mind to it. So don't worry about it. Whatever maths is required will be taught in the program.
I think there is no more questions. Thank you, Srijit.
Thank you.
Gayatri, go
Thank
ahead.
you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Akia Iyer, first-year MSc scholar, to introduce the tool that the MSc students have made.
Good evening, all. I am Akia, first-year MSc scholar in Department of Computational Biology and Bioinformatics. You all might have got an idea what bioinformatics is all about. It is the development of tools and software to analyze biological data. Biological data includes DNA, RNA, and protein. So I am here to introduce a small glimpse of our first project work, which was done based on our learning in semester 1. We have many teams here. One of them is DCB Force, DCB free and open source software. With DCB Force, in collaboration with our batch, have made a software to decode the reading frames in DNA, which was named as SeqSpot. The software is scripted using Python language, and the software spot the ORF from a given DNA sequence. What is ORF? ORF or open reading frame is a portion of DNA. A portion of ORF begins with a start codon and ends with a stop codon. As you all know, DNA is double-stranded, so there are 6 possible reading frames, 3 in each direction. The reading frames determine which amino acid will be encoded by a gene. Coming to the software was divided into 2 main sections. The GUI part, which consists of spaces to input the sequence and get the formulated possible output sequence, that is the open reading frame. It also consisted with a graph showing the count of nucleotides. Main source code part, which includes packages which are seen here, classes, and also defines a function used to formulate and the one coded it. These are the functions used in the software. Working. The software finds and displays the open reading frame. We started our project on 20th of April and introduced to the department on 27th of May. Here is a small video on working of the software SeekSpot. So building a software was not at all an easy task. It required an ample support and understanding, which was there from the department. So I'm very happy to share with you all a glimpse of our first project, which ran in Windows successfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Akia. Next up, we have a creative performance for your enjoyment. For that, I invite Athirati, MPhil Scholar, to sing for you.
ഹായ് ഇത് ഒരു നാൾ വരും എന്ന ഫിലിമിൽ മുരുകൻ കാട്ടാക്കട എഴുതി ശ്വേതാ മോഹൻ പാടിയ ഒരു പാട്ടാണ്. മാവിൻ ചോട്ടിലെ മണമുള്ള മധുരമാണ്. മാവിൻ ചോട്ടിലെ മണമുള്ള മധുരമാ മനതാരിൽ കുളിരും ബാല്യം ആരോ നീട്ടിയ മഷിത്തണ്ടിൻ കുളിരുള്ള തളിരോർമയാണെൻ്റെ ബാല്യം ചെളിമണ്ണിൽ പാവാടച്ചായം തേക്കും അതു കാണി കളിയാക്കും ഇളനാമ്പുകൾ കളിയാടുന്ന പാടത്തെ കതിരോർമ ബാല്യം മാവിൻ ചോട്ടിലെ മണമുള്ള മധുരമ മനതാരിൽ കുളിരും ബാല്യം ആരോ നീട്ടിയ മഷിത്തണ്ടിൻ കുളിരുള്ള തളിരോർമയാണെൻ്റെ ബാല്യം പകലിനെ സ്നേഹിച്ചു കൊതി തീരാതൊരു പൂവ് പടിഞ്ഞാറു നോക്കി കരഞ്ഞു അവൾ മുഖമൊന്നുയർത്താതെ നിന്നു പകലിനെ സ്നേഹിച്ചു കൊതി തീരാതൊരു പൂവ് പടിഞ്ഞാറു നോക്കി കരഞ്ഞു അവൾ പാതിമയക്കത്തിൽ ഒരു കാറ്റ് നീ തലോടി അറിയാതെ പാട്ടുമൂളി ഒരു കാറ്റു നീ തലോടി അറിയാതെ പാട്ടുമൂളി അതിലറിയാത്ത വീലോർമ്മ ഇമ്പായും മാവിൻ ചോട്ടിലെ മണമുള്ള മധുരമാ മനതാരിൽ കുളിരും ബാല്യം ആരോ നീട്ടിയ മഷിത്തണ്ടിൻ കുളിരുള്ള തളിരോർമയാണെൻ്റെ ബാല്യം കളിവാക്കു ചൊല്ലിയ കളിക്കൂട്ടുകാരി കരയിച്ച കാര്യം മറന്നു, അതിൽ സുഖമുള്ള നോവും മറന്നു. നുണ പറഞ്ഞെപ്പോഴും ഞാവൽ പഴം തിന്ന തൊടിയും നിലാവും മറന്നു, കാവിൽ കിളിയും കിനാവും മയങ്ങി. നിറവാർന്ന സന്ധ്യ മാഞ്ഞു മഴയുള്ള രാത്രി പോയി, നിറവാർന്ന സന്ധ്യ മാഞ്ഞു മഴയുള്ള രാത്രി പോയി. ഇന്നും മറയാത്ത മഴയോർമ്മ ഇമ്പാലും മാവിൻ ചോട്ടിലെ മണമുള്ള മധുരമായി മനതാരിൽ കുളിരും നിമ്പാലും. ആരോ നീട്ടിയ മഷിത്തണ്ടിൻ കുളിരുള്ള തളിരോർമ്മയാണെൻ്റെ ബാല്യം. ചെളിമണ്ണിൽ പാവാട ചായം തേക്കും അതു കാണി കളിയാക്കുമിളനാമ്പുകൾ, കളിയാടുന്ന പാടത്തെ കതിരോർമ്മ ബാല്യം. Thank you.
Thank you, Adira. There are 2 questions in between. We have to answer it. So I'll read out the question. Sir, I am from engineering graduate student who would like to study MSc Computational Science. I have very keen interest in genetic engineering. What type of questions can we expect for entrance exam? So basically, we have the entrance exam syllabus is having 2 parts, Part A and Part B. 60 questions in Part A, which has got logical reasoning and numerical reasoning, which is followed by the basic computer science questions. So you don't have to worry about the biology part for as far as the specialization in machine learning is concerned. For NGS and CAD, we have respective teachers over here. They will help you with the pattern. So basically, 60 Part A questions and 40 mark Part B questions. That is the current way in which we used to follow.
So as Dr. Biji has mentioned, we have the 2 parts for the entrance examination. Like as you mentioned, in the case of machine learning, we have the questions based on logical reasoning, numeric reasoning, and basic computer science. And for the eligibility will be you might have seen the eligibility also for the different courses. So for the machine learning program, there will be people will be encouraged from the bachelor's in computer science, electronics, or mathematics, physics, almost all the areas, including bioinformatics, biotechnology, and bioinformatics, etc., except the pure biology subjects like the botany or zoology, etc. And for the NGS and CAD program, likewise, the same pattern is being followed. You have logical reasoning, numeric reasoning, and basic computer science will be again included, and some basic biology, because here in this particular program for NGS as well as for computer-aided drug design, the eligibility is basically for NGS data analytics. You have the people from bioinformatics, again from computer science, microbiology, then chemistry, biochemistry, or biotechnology. Everyone, people having biology background are encouraged to apply for the same for both the courses. And so you have a bit more of biology compared to the other machine learning program, and very basic computer science knowledge, because now everybody knows basic usage of computers, basic usage of all are using the advanced mobile phones. So everybody will be very much comfortable with the basic computer usage.
So I think that answered the structure of the entrance exam. For ML and NGS, there is a small difference when it comes to the subject questions. Okay. So any other questions? I think Muhammad, Ashwati, we've answered you. Also, Atulya, there was a question about, I'm a BSc Computer Science last semester student. Can I join for MSc machine learning. Definitely, you're eligible to join this particular program. And also, what is the future of MSc machine learning? So basically, it is not MSc machine learning we're giving, it is MSc computational biology with the specialization in machine learning we are offering. Machine learning, it's a part of computer science, so its scope is very wide. It's a subgroup in artificial intelligence. So anyway, the scope of our specialization will be with respect to giving you a basic understanding about neural networks, the advanced neural networks like convolution neural networks and other advanced deep learning network, which even include the taste of GPT-3 and BERT. So, the course is basically being organized in outcome-based syllabus. So we assure you that, you will get skills in Python, machine learning, that too, only one area we are currently focusing, that is neural networks. So everything with respect to the neural network will basically get a flavor, and the added advantage will be on solving biological problems. So, Akash has one more question. Hi sir, I am BTech graduate from 2020 year, and I tried to join the program last year but couldn't. I'm currently working in regular program flexible to accommodate working hours, or is it going to be a blocker? So Akash, probably you can give a separate mail. I think Dr. Achyutshankar is not present here. Basically, we encourage you to apply and write the entrance exam. Meanwhile, you will get a message. You please mail us, and we'll share our thoughts on that regard.
So with that, we would like to culminate our session. We conclude that there is no alternative to hard work and dedication at this department. As you would have noticed, we have a right blend of creativity for solving biological problems. We do wish some of you will join with us in our campus soon. Thanks to everyone who took time to be a part of this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Even if you have some queries, feel free to mail. Thank you all for joining. Thank you.